Welcome back to the show. We're closer than you think. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.77 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 0.5%. Right now, Bitcoin 104,000 plus, Ethereum 3,300 plus. Number 3 spots, XRP shining like a star at 319. We're up 1.6 on the 24, and we're up 15.7 on the 7-day. Well, let's look at the range of price very quickly here, which is 308 to 325, ladies and gentlemen. We will keep an eye on it as we're sitting right here at 317. I'm loving it. And I tell you, the technical analysts are all really changing their targets to a much higher price because of all the positive news that's happening for this space. This is the difference when you have regulation by enforcement versus regulation by embracing. That's what we're getting ready to see here, and I couldn't be more excited. By the way, if you want to get the best education on what artificial intelligence is really doing to disrupt our world, our lives, our economy, this is the place to go. It's the Link to AI Innovation Conference, February 18, 2025, in San Jose headquarters. Listen, the ticket is very affordable. You should make the investment into yourself to get the kind of education to let you know exactly the kind of areas you need to be paying attention to where AI can change lives all around the world. We will have some of the top industry leaders at this conference, and I'm fortunate enough to be at this conference. Come there. I want to meet you. I want to shake your hand. I want to talk to you about this. I'm very interested specifically in the integration of AI and crypto together. And I know Ripple just recently invested in a company to do exactly that. And there's many other areas where you're going to learn about disruption. So if you're interested in all the emerging sectors of the economy where things are absolutely exploding and the chance to invest, the education is what you need before you do it. And this is where you can get it. Link to's AI Innovation Conference. Click the link underneath the video and get your ticket. Right here is a beautiful moment for Ross Ulbricht. The Silk Road founder is out of prison, ladies and gentlemen, having been pardoned by President Trump, the first ever pro-crypto president. Now, I know we haven't got any executive orders for a strategic reserve, and I know we haven't got an executive order about the crypto council being formed yet, but I tell you what, seeing the president do this right here makes sense that for him and his family, he have this done first. This is the first order of business for crypto to be done right here, and rightfully so. Shout out to you, Ross, and I'm glad that you're home with your family now. God bless you and your family, what you've been through. I bet he'll be on Rogan soon. That ought to be fun. Breaking, the SEC has launched a new crypto task force led by Commissioner Peirce, aimed at establishing a clear regulatory framework for the cryptocurrency industry. Now we're seeing the crypto embrace over crypto enforcement. Good riddance, Gary Gendler, and Mark Udall has been appointed as the interim head of the SEC until Paul Atkins is confirmed, which I am extremely excited about, by the way. And here we see a quick clip. I'm not going to play this entire clip so you can breathe a sigh of relief, but I do want to play a piece of this where they bring in President Trump's former deputy press secretary, and he's talking about the United States government holds a strategic reserve of gold, oil, and land, and the economy of the future demands it holds Bitcoin. Well, let me get us queued up here. So here he is. Take a listen.
Brian, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Great topic to discuss on this momentous day.
Absolutely. So just explain in layperson's terms to someone who's not necessarily deep in the crypto world what this plan is and what you see its merits as being.
Sure. So the United States holds a number of strategic assets, including the gold bullion depository, the gold reserve. We have a strategic oil reserve. Of course, the U.S. government owns a tremendous amount of land, of real estate. So it holds commodities, it holds hard assets. the economy of the future, I think, demands that it hold Bitcoin because it is the OG cryptocurrency, OG digital asset. It has a fixed supply cap. And in an age when the United States has been debasing its currency with some reckless fiscal policy and loose monetary policies, we've seen the value of the dollar decrease by some 20 to 25% over just the Biden administration, just the last 4 years. So I think it is wise for the U.S. government to start hodling, as the Bitcoiners call it, a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. It will help in terms of the debt and currency debasement I just talked about. China and Russia are looking to diversify assets, get away from U.S. dollar dominance, getting into more precious metals. I think we could front run them on this. The U.S. as the first mover would reap outsized benefits, and I see very little, virtually no downside, plenty of possible upside. Bitcoin really started with a cultural revolution, dissatisfaction with the legacy financial system. It has since grown and matured and is now held by some of the largest corporations in the world. We see the ETFs on Wall Street becoming the most successful launch of a similar product in history. It's finally time for the government to catch up to what many people, investors, Bitcoiners, people who really want to see a more small d democratic financial system get into. I think it's time for the government to catch up, and we could really put our country on a much better footing if we do this.
Listen, and this all goes to the point of what we have talked about here for a very long time, which is the fact that, look, we've even heard David Schwartz talk about that, until now, we've seen crypto go grassroots bottom up. But what we haven't seen yet is the top-down adoption, which is what we saw with the internet first. It was first used by governments and militaries, then it became a grassroots bottom-up from there. This has come into the market from the other side, which the beautiful part of this is that it's given all of us in the know a chance to front-run Wall Street. That hardly ever happens. But the pain is knowing that you've been here and you understand the power of this innovation, how it can disrupt in the most positive way, and then still not see it take off because you haven't yet seen the governments and military adopt this around the world. Well, we have seen it in certain areas of the world, but it is the largest economy of the world that we're waiting on now, the United States of America, which I believe is the step function change, which I believe equates to the flip of the switch. That's what that is. And here Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong says, I think over time we will see Bitcoin get into the millions, multiple millions price range.
Yeah. Well, we have seen just incredible growth, and I think it hit an all-time high yesterday, so we feel very good about that. But I think over time we'll see Bitcoin get into the millions, multiple millions price range. I mean, it's being adopted by more and more institutional customers. The ETFs brought in a huge amount of inflow. If we get clear legislation passed in the U.S., that would be a big milestone. A strategic Bitcoin reserve, if the U.S. took that path, probably the rest of the G20 would follow. In fact, I've discussed with a number of finance ministers here in Switzerland from different countries around the world, just the idea of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. They're getting more interested in it now because the U.S. is looking into it. So I think Bitcoin has a long way to go. It's going to be the new gold standard out there, and crypto is really much bigger than that too. It's about payments.
And there you have it. That's right. Payments are much bigger than the other side that he spent 44 seconds talking about. I can tell you that. But here's what I'm excited about. Again, he's highlighting here the United States taking a position once legislation's passed, opening the door for the largest economy to embrace these assets and technology, whether it's for a strategic reserve or whether it's to incorporate them inside the financial system for payments, which I believe is going to be the biggest price driver over time. Utility, baby. And speaking of utility, USD Tether currently has 70 to 75% of the entire stablecoin market under wraps. Now, they were just pushed out of the European Union for being a non-compliant stablecoin, which has forced Tether to want to relocate now in El Salvador. Well, just in, Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong says the exchange would delist Tether if required by law, as U.S. legislation may mandate full reserves in U.S. Treasury bonds. This is according to Wall Street Journal. Tether is under investigation by the Justice and Treasury Departments for lacking fully audited financials. You know, the real USD solves this. Are you seeing this, right? And we've talked about this. We've said keep your eye on this. This may cause a temporary dip in the market, and I may personally buy the rest of the XRP that's available. No, I'm kidding. I don't have the money for that. But nonetheless, it's a nice thought. And I will be picking up on the dip if there's a dip from some kind of news that would really solidify what we've all been concerned about. And if it does happen, then I have to say this is where the USDCs and the real USDs come into play and really establish a healthy market, highly regulated, highly transparent, very secure, trustworthy market, because these tokens will be so highly regulated, everyone will flock to it. And we know that the real USD, the man himself, Brad Garlinghouse, we don't need to hear all the noise. Brad Garlinghouse, boom, right there. That's right. The guy who just launched the real USD, shaking hands with the vice presidents of the United States of America. Come on, Ian. And here he is getting a picture too. And that is amazing. And it doesn't stop there, because here's Stuart Alderati getting a picture with the vice president as well. What a moment we are in. When we get this level of embrace of this technology, and that moves into a very real piece and pieces of legislation that are about to be moved through Congress and signed by the president himself, this is going to open the door for the first time in the United States of America, because it's been done around the world in other places. Banks in the financial system will be able to hold custody digital assets, because remember, we're waiting on an executive order to repeal SAB 121 from the SEC. And instantly, banks are in the custody game, baby, and soon payments game after that. This has brought me back to Bank of America and just how big this is about to get. Now, I know that you know Bank of America has some patents in these things, but I just want to run over this because I'll tell you why. Because last night before I went to sleep, I'm laying there thinking, crypto moves so fast. It's one of the things I absolutely love about this space. I'm so passionate about it. And I love how fast-paced it is. It keeps you young and it keeps you excited, keeps you passionate. Now, with that being said, it washed over me how many years now we've known about Bank of America and these patents. But now the CEO himself is ready to adopt crypto for payments if the regulators just give the green light. Now the CEO is saying it. It's no more of this digging up, financials and PDF reports and all the stuff we're all not supposed to see and patents. But now we're here where the conversation is on the table. And what a remarkable moment that is. JP Morgan has been the gatekeeper to cross-border payments, but not anymore. If you go all the way back, Bank of America joined RippleNet way back, it was announced. But it doesn't stop there. Then there was the patents. Well, these patents that were discovered by Michael McDaniel. Shout out to him, one of the greatest researchers and OGs in this space to ever be. And I tell you, it was 24 hours later when that patent was broken in our private Telegram group that this happened at Bloomberg. And you might not remember it if you weren't here, but after that news was broke, Brad Garlinghouse was forced to go sit on an interview with Bloomberg to address the patent being discovered in 2019.
There have been reports that Bank of America has taken out a patent that suggests it's using the Ripple ledger for its currency transactions. Can you comment on that?
I saw that.
Can you confirm or kill the speculation?
I can neither confirm nor kill. Look, we are, I think, widely known to be working with a lot of banks around the world, and certainly some of the largest banks already are in the world are customers of ours today. And we'll continue working with big banks around the world. And I too was surprised by that patent application because we have not announced anything.
All right. Well, I had to try and ask.
Enough.
Thank you, Brad Garlinghouse.
And there you have it. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of the people. And that's something that everyone in the XRP community has known just how powerful we are as a group together collectively. And that ultimately led to the power of DAI breaking open ETHgate and then helping him do it. And then it turned into what it's become today. And then we see Elon buy Twitter, make it X, and now it's about to be an everything app, and he's absolutely demolished the propaganda machine of lamestream media. The power of the people is much larger than the elite. They don't want us to know it. Then you remember this? Nick Burafedo right here at Swell in 22, I think it was. Take a listen to this.
Okay, so I'm going to take you through my notes from the day. It's quite loud in here, so I apologize. First thing is, I met with Brad Garlinghouse face-to-face, and Brad was so confident. He's got an air of confidence about him that's unbelievable. I met Brad first in 2019 back in Singapore, and he's even more confident today than he was back then. He made it clear that they're ready to settle with the SEC as long as they can get clarity on XRP. I asked him if American companies were waiting on the sidelines to jump in the game once clarity happens, and he said absolutely. And he specifically said Bank of America. Bank of America is a huge partner of Ripple, and he said Bank of America stands to gain really big when the settlement happens, because they're going to have a huge competitive advantage over their competitors by using ODL in the marketplace. So Brad is very, very bullish.
That is huge.
Asked what motivates Brad every day, Brad just said, I want to put a dent in the universe. We've heard that from Nabi and Gupta, and Brad has the same philosophy. So that was fantastic.
That's amazing, and shout out to Nick for that and getting that information back in the day too. Here's Austin King from Omni, ladies and gentlemen, who will be on stage at XRP Las Vegas 25. Did you get your ticket yet? The price is going to go up, and then I'm going to get a whole bunch of messages about how I was just about ready to get a ticket, then the price went up. Y'all better stop messing around.
Look like in 2025, and what are the hurdles now if at least U.S. regulation looks friendlier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think the primary hurdles are not technological. Like I said, it's grown a lot, getting that regulatory clarity put in place so that these traditional financial institutions can start moving forward. I saw Bank of America even put out a positive leading statement today surrounding stablecoins, and that they were open-minded to using this technology if regulatory clarity was put in place.
There you have it. And that's exactly what he said. The Bank of America CEO says the banking industry will adopt Bitcoin and crypto if regulation allows them to. That's where we're at today, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have Christian Carlo, who comes in and tells Fred Thiel, who says this: fair weather winds are beginning to blow. Bank of America CEO says banks will jump into crypto payments if regulators allow it. On CNBC, which we covered, and what I love about this is Christian Carlo comes in and says, trust me, Fred, it's going to happen. I don't know what else we need to know, but I think I've got what I need to know. And now we're headed into the freedom zone. And if you think there's a bunch of things happening that are incredible in crypto, you're going to want to go to digitalperspectives.com and click this button for the freedom zone. It's a great way to support the channel for next to nothing. And we're super grateful for each one of you that do. And even whether you do or not, please hit the like and share and subscribe. We're going into the freedom zone right now, not financial advice from me or anyone else. Come on in. All right, well.